We acknowledge with gratitude that we are gathered on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Coquitlam First Nation, who have lived here for thousands of years and continue to care for these lands and waters. We also recognize the shared territory of the Coast Salish peoples, including the Tsleil-Waututh, Cathy, and Musqueam nations. We honor their enduring presence and ongoing contributions to this region.
Welcome to Faces Tri-Cities interview series. I'm Genevieve Kyle-Lefebvre.
And I'm Cathy. Faces Tri-Cities is a co-authored book featuring 50 amazing local women.
Yes. And today, Cathy, we are sitting with Erinn Gleeson. Welcome, Erinn.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. And we have two ladies in the audience. We have Miriam and Billy. Thank you, ladies, for being here. Mm-hmm. First question, ready to go?
Okay.
Perfect. So what inspired you to get involved in this local initiative of Faces Tri-City co-author book?
Well, I'm actually in the business of storytelling. And so, and in my experience, I've learned that once people have told their story, we are more connected. And as others have said, we also find out that we are more alike than we are different once we tell our stories, or more similar anyways. And it's about women. So women are the heart of a lot of homes, and but also communities. So being, hopefully a woman who can connect with other women and we can lift each other up. It seemed like a no-brainer. Yeah,
that's great. What impact does sharing your story have on the Tri-Cities community, Erinn?
Well, my background is working with kids, and my business is in the Tri-Cities. And so therefore, when you can share the story about what I do and why I do it, hopefully it'll have an impact on some of the kids that are right in the community. And, some of the kids that we work with, we work at them with all different levels. And so eventually they start to connect with each other as well. So they're in the same community. So being a part of a project that is very community based is certainly meaningful to me because of what I do, which is again right in the same community. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what does being part of a co-author book help make a difference in our community?
Yeah, well, again, like what I was saying, just building on it, it's interesting that the book is called Faces because a face tells a lot. But so many of us put on masks. And I think it's really great because we have an opportunity to look at each other and to really, but not just look at the mask maybe, but by reading the story, we actually get to the heart of these amazing, amazing women. And I think that's really important because again, we all have a story to tell. And it's really fascinating to know that all these amazing, amazing women are right here at home. We don't need to go on YouTube and elsewhere to find these great stories. They're right here in our community.
I do like what you said, I think, Cathy, also about the face, but then you do have to remove your mask.
You do.
Because it's about your face. It's about your story.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we're going to jump in right into your quote, Erinn. Mm-hmm. All the ladies wrote a quote. And if they didn't, we wrote it for them.
No, everybody did,
sure
Cathy.
It's pretty powerful.
Don't spread some rumors here.
That's a rumor. I know. So Winston Churchill is who you quoted.
I did.
A pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity. An optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Ooh, I got shivers just hearing it again.
I know, me too.
Yeah. No, it's on my fridge. I saw it years ago in the newspaper. Remember what that is, and cut it out, and it is still on my fridge today. I really should laminate it because it might crumple apart one day, but I'm just a very optimistic person. It doesn't mean that I haven't had my shares of tragedies or crummy situations, but it's because of my optimism that lifts me out because I don't feel good when I'm in that part. So that's what I try to teach my own children and the kids that I work with, is that, you know, if you can try to see the bright side of every situation, there's always a silver lining. And that is really important on how you move on past that negative feeling or situation. So really, this is really how I live my life. I really try to say, you know, no, let's spin it. You know, there's always going to be something that is negative, but let's try to find the positive in it, because I know it's there. We just have to look.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's true.
Erinn, I want you to touch on your story a little bit and why you decided to talk about this.
Yeah, well, I talk about my company, Kids Can Theater Company, which is a youth theater company in the Tri-Cities. I created this company because I remember as a youth just kind of being a dreamer, not always fitting in, being an odd kid, maybe a really super creative and maybe even a weird kid, I don't know. But I was generally pretty happy. And a lot of people were bothered by the fact that I was happy and just friendly. And that was really hard for me. I know, isn't that weird? So strange.
Am I surprised? Are you surprised?
No,
No,
I'm
it's
not surprised.
It's like why
It happens
do
to us.
people,
It happens to us all the time.
right? Well, like when
Yeah.
people dislike you because you're happy and you want to be friendly and you want to be inclusive. I've always been that way, and so you know, I just realized though that, and then I found the arts. So for me, finding the arts was really a place where, talking about masks, you could put on a mask and truthfully, you're actually feeling it like yourself. Because you're like, well, no, I have a costume on, I have a mask. But really, I'm letting go. And I'm being myself and I'm creating. And it was very empowering. It made me feel as a child that I had a place where I could belong, how I could grow, and how I can also connect with others who did feel like me. So as I became an adult, you know, I had several little careers, but I always kept coming back to the arts and kids. And certainly once I had my own children, I could see that kids need sometimes a little helping hand on how to connect. So creating Kids Can Theater, the kids can, we really believe that. Kids can do so many things. They just have to be given permission to do so. Like we need to open that door that says, yes, express, be yourself. And you know, through theater is not for everybody, but we use the skills of theater as a way to help kids find, you know, grow their strength, their self-confidence, and their creativity, quite frankly. And so I just wanted to tell people that it's okay for kids to be silly. You know, sometimes teachers are like, oh, sit down straight and don't move and listen. Well, everybody learns differently. And so sometimes, you know, having that opportunity to just kind of be a bit crazy, you can actually, it helps them connect with each other and just really grow those personal skills that all children, all people need.
You spoke earlier about a silver lining, and last time we saw you, Erinn, you were being let go from United Way, and you know, you were a community liaison right here in the Tri-Cities, I believe, and I think the silver lining was maybe to focus more on Kids Can and other types of platforms that what you really should be doing. Tell us a little bit about what it was like working for the United Way and what that meant to you.
Because you have quite of an impact on the Tri-Cities with everything you've done.
Well, thank you for saying that.
Yeah, with United Way. So I think, I agree with you, Cathy. You need to.
Yeah, well, it's really interesting how life happens, because I actually was doing Kids Can Theater full time. I had a partner, a co-creator, co-founder, and she's still my dear sister today. And things were going amazingly well for us in the Tri-Cities. In fact, we had too much business coming our way. And literally 3 days before the pandemic shut everything down, we were like, we need to find teachers. How are we going to do this? And then the pandemic it did come and really literally shut things right down. And people talked about pivoting, and we tried, and it's very hard to do theater online. It's not impossible, but it is very difficult. Really, Kids Can Theater, in order to keep it alive, because we believed in it so much, we really were almost volunteers. We didn't pay ourselves, we kept it going, and then at some point, it just wasn't sustainable. So I had to get a job, and I did. And I was very fortunate to be working with United Way British Columbia as a community builder, which is, again, just works so well for me and my heart about community and people and coming together and lifting each other up in our own homes, in our own cities. Really, really important. And it worked really well with Kids Can Theater because I could, work it around my classes with the kids. And so being let go is really difficult. But you're right. It happens, right? The opportunity to work with United Way happened at a time when I really needed it. Again, that's that optimism, right? I know something's going to happen. Something good is it's going to direct me in the way I need to be. And then being let go, it came at a time where Kids Can Theater is growing. And in fact, I was panicking. How can I do this balance? And then I got let go. And in a way, it was like, well, okay. I guess that's just it. I'm meant to be focusing on here.
So it was a good bridge.
Absolutely. And that's another reason why I did want to be part of the book, is because I was like, I need to focus on, what is really my passion, who is really me. And I just do believe it's a service. It's a service to help, the kids in our cities. That crazy pandemic really, really affected the growth of our children.
Yes.
And they socially, they don't know how to come together. So we're just one little part, which maybe we can help kids come together and find each other, find their own people, and themselves.
Jen, did you show the photo?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that
Erinn.
yes,
Here.
there you go.
Excellent. Do we take
Yes,
a
we
question?
should.
Actually, you know what? Before we do that, I want to know, are you involved or do you give back with volunteering with other organizations that you like to support?
Yeah, well, again, I'm very sort of kids focused, youth focused. So one thing we do with Kids Can Theaters, we do want to give back. So one, we work with schools. And so what we always do when we are engaging with a new school or any school is we say to the administration, hey, if you would sponsor one child, we'll sponsor one child. So usually we will do two. What that means is they sign up and pay for those kids to be part of our program, which is an extracurricular program. And then we, as Kids Can Theater, we will give 2 of those spots. So up to 4 spots every session can be given to children who may not otherwise be able to participate. So that's one area where I really like to be involved. And when I was with United Way, we worked with volunteers all the time. That was part of my job. So I haven't been involved with community organizations as much, other than through my former job, but I will be looking at that, and it's certainly, anything again that helps kids and families. That's really where my heart is at.
Amazing.
Nice.
Let's ask the audience, right?
Yes.
Hi, ladies, any questions? Yes, Miriam.
Well, your story is really interesting, and I'm a mom to 2 small kids, and and my 9-year-old is a huge musical theater fan. So your story resonates with me a lot. But I was interested to learn a little bit more about, like my daughter is really a can-do, loves it. But what type of resources do you offer kids who maybe want to, but they feel like they can't do it? Like what types of resources would you provide for them?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So we do work actually with volunteers at the school as well. So there's some, a lot of kids really do want to be involved, but don't want to be on stage. And so we actually welcome them in, and we find a place for them in some way. And in many of these cases, again, it's a volunteer role. So say, for example, they want to work backstage. People love working backstage. They want to pull the curtains if we're in a situation where there's a stage, or help someone with a costume change, or move sets, etc. So people want to be involved, and our productions it's a class where people people are a community already, a family, and so they do want to be involved, and they understand they're helping each other out. So that's an example where they might be able to do that, and it's a great way to start, because if they've done that, some kids eventually do build up that confidence to actually step on stage as well. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that. That's so nice. You see a lot of kids, you can see that they really want to do it. I was that kid.
Absolutely. There's so many, right?
But
Yeah.
it's like foreign territory. Some
Yeah.
kids are really confident.
Yeah.
So that's
And then
fantastic.
also I will say is some of most of our programs are sort of a production based where there's a show, but we do some programs called there's one that we do, it depends on the school, but it's called 3 o'clock theater, and it is not really a production, it's more of an acting class, and it's building on those skills and building and always building on confidence. It's always sort of trying to help each individual feel they can do it. And yeah, so that's another option as well. Yeah.
That's
Well,
amazing.
that's fantastic. It brings me back to my younger days of when I used to take my child to musical theaters, and then he got older, and there's not a lot of boys when you're older. I just want to quickly say this, and so he's like, "Mom, so and so called, and they want me to do Grease." Well, if you're not going to be the lead, you're saying no. He got the lead, so he was definitely one of those people. I'll say
awesome.
that.
Yeah,
he got a lot of leads in a lot of things, so I'm definitely a musical theater mom, and I loved those years. I really did. So,
they're so
Erinn,
fun.
Erinn, it was so fun and lovely to have you share your story with us and learning more about Kids Can.
Yeah, I think
like
it's
that.
amazing. I thank you for being part of the book
Yes.
and being part of the community. And you were there when we did another meetup with the ladies. So you keep showing up.
nice.
Thank you for taking the time to be part of our community.
Thank you. And if I could just say that we're still looking for teachers too.
Oh,
so
okay,
if there's
yes.
people who don't necessarily have to have a degree, they just have to have a real passion for theater and also for kids, of course, most importantly.
Yeah,
Thank you.
fantastic, fantastic. Well, everyone, this is our interview series with Faces Tri-Cities. Genevieve and I co-created this beautiful book with 50 amazing local women. And we also would like to give a shout out to Tri-Cities Community TV, the Coquitlam Public Library that donated their space for us over the last 2 days. That's been phenomenal for us. Without them, we could not have all of these interviews. And today you were listening to Erinn Gleeson, who talked a lot about community and giving your children a Kids Can attitude. Thanks so much for watching. We're signing off now. I'm Cathy Chenna, and this is
Genevieve Kyle-Lefebvre, thank you so much for joining us today.
bye for now.
Good job. Just stop. Nice earrings.